And we're likely looking ahead to a very nice Labor Day weekend. We've had an isolated shower pop up right over part of the metro area. It started in around the Elmwood, Harahan, River Ridge area and is moving its way to the West Bank, but also have some shower activity around the river bend. 88 right now in Kenner. Dew points were still not bad today, upper 60s, lower 70s, so really didn't have much of a heat index. And we did see a bit more cloudiness around earlier in the day today coming in from the north. Still able to get up to 91 degrees, but that is seasonal. And considering our record on this date 2 years ago was 105 degrees, not bad. Again, a bit more cloudiness through much of the day today. Then we started to see that afternoon sun, and that was enough to help bubble up a few isolated showers. As I mentioned, we have that one shower, and still fairly heavy at times, a little bit of lightning with it. Started around the Elmwood area, still ongoing in River Ridge, parts of South Kenner, and now spreading onto the West Bank. It also does include maybe some light sprinkles right at the river bend as well as on the West Bank, and some other shower activity that we have had over toward Morgan City. That has been about it for most of the day. Upper 80s and only a few lower 90s. Temperature wise, considering it's almost the end of August, this isn't bad. We've been holding on to that slightly drier air, and that is going to continue, or I should say return, as we head later into the weekend, because I do think we might see a slight bump in our humidity tomorrow and into Friday, with a chance of better shower activity on Friday and early Saturday. Now, as far as the dew point forecast goes, I don't think we're going to see a dramatic change in our humidity overall. Maybe a few degrees. It'll be a little bit more humid on Saturday, and that's mainly with the front. Once that front clears the area, though, the dew points come back down, and well into next week, it looks like we're going to start off September a little bit more comfortable. Notice this area of thunderstorms that are offshore. That's associated with a warm front. I think briefly that warm front is going to move back northward over us. Then we'll get that reinforcement from the upper troughing pushing a cold front on through during the day Saturday. And what I like is that this upper pattern continues and actually intensifies with another deep upper level low, keeping that northerly and northwesterly flow in place. It is this pattern, the later into the season we get, going into September, October, that starts bringing down real cold fronts. And I'm hoping that maybe this is a sign we'll get an early season cold front. There's the warm front I had mentioned. This is going to briefly move back over us tomorrow. It might help to trigger a few spotty showers, so I did increase our rain chance to Thursday at about 30%. Not everyone will see rainfall, but a few isolated to spotty showers are possible. The better chance of rain, though, in our forecast is coming in on Friday with an approaching front. Storms will develop well out ahead of the front, but once that front moves in, that will be where we get that drier air. And because that is going to be occurring on Friday with that rain chance, a lot of outdoor activities for the Katrina 20th. We are calling for a weather impact alert that day. Nothing severe. A few isolated heavy downpours are possible, and the timing for the rain looks to be more morning into the afternoon. Have the WWL app handy because you'll have live radar. You'll be able to see where those storms are. Again, it's not going to be an all-day rain. Not everyone will even see the rain, but definitely a good idea to have that rain gear handy. Out in the tropics we go. The only storm that we are still tracking is Farinal. Winds of 50 miles an hour, almost now a post-tropical system, meaning it's not purely tropical. And as I've been mentioning the last couple of days, we'll be watching these old frontal boundaries that get into the Gulf and offshore waters. Sometimes they can spin up a little something. There are still some indications that maybe late next week we see some, or early next week, we start to see something kind of spin up off the East Coast, but stay out in the open Atlantic. Elsewhere, there are no threats as we get closer to the peak of hurricane season. 30% chance of rain on Thursday. Again, that weather impact alert, not because of severe weather, but only because of a lot of outdoor activities for the Katrina 20th. Then that rain chance starts wrapping up probably about midday Saturday with some less humid air and fairly pleasant weather going into our Labor Day weekend.